There are 3 wineries in the Wente family estates portfolio. Wente Vineyards started in 1883, produces beautiful estate-grown wines from the Livermore Valley, San Francisco Bay, and Arroyo Seco, Monterey. Tomas Estates started in 1984, produces bright, fruit-forward Italian varietals, and Myriad as well is a 90-acre estate in the Livermore Valley that produces elegant blended wines.
When my great-grandfather started the winery in 1883, he had immigrated from Germany.
He was obviously, like many other people, coming from Europe with nothing, and he came here and got into the wine business from the standpoint of creating a business that supported his family and put food on the table. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't the type of lifestyle and image that people want to get into the wine business today.
According to my grandfather and my great aunts, listening to stories, that he learned how to be a businessman more after he got in a wagon accident and hurt his back badly enough that he couldn't really work physical labor anymore, and that he claims was the start of his real success.
Since then, it's been passed down through the generations. The second generation was my great-grandfather, Ernest, who was the grape grower, and his brother Herman, who was the winemaker. And then Herman didn't have any children. Ernest just had one son, my grandfather Carl, third generation. And then the fourth generation is my father Eric, my uncle Phil, and my Aunt Carolyn.
Growing up for me was the experience of working in the vineyards, playing in the vineyards, working at the winery. My parents and grandparents really encouraged us to do everything that was winery or vineyard related.
Well, as kids, we were born and raised right here, and so we'd go down and play in the creek. We'd do a lot of horseback riding, go to my grandmother and grandfather's house, get horses, and come back right around here. We used to keep some horses over here.
It was a very free lifestyle. We live out amongst the vineyards. There was plenty of room to run and to play, and we would get involved in everything.
Our roles in the company evolved a little bit out of, I think, our various interests, and then also evolved out of just the history of things.
My brother Phil was always the farmer, working with my grandfather, who had been the farmer and managed all the vineyards, the cattle ranch, etc. He shadowed him everywhere.
Ended up going to University of California, Davis, getting a Bachelor of Science in Viticulture and Enology, and coming to work for my father and grandfather alongside my brother, who had come to work a year before.
My brother Eric shadowed his great uncle Herman, who was the winemaker and the chemist, and Eric's passion is really about chemistry and how things work. And so it was fun seeing this happen. And I was with my mother and grandmother cooking and entertaining. We were the catering company for Wente Vineyards through the years. So that's where my passion for wine and food came about.
I think we work very well together. We all have a similar overall interest in the success of Wente Vineyards, but then we have our individual interests, which tend not to overlap too badly.
So the fourth generation, Eric, Phil, and Carolyn, wanted to find other reasons for guests to come enjoy the Livermore Valley wine country.
I started the restaurant in 1986, and it was really a vision my two brothers and I had, where we wanted to incorporate many of our estate-grown products. We have a wonderful herb garden, vegetable garden that we started in conjunction with the restaurant. We have a small cattle ranch, and we were using our own grass-fed beef. It's really a place to showcase what we consider to be wine country cuisine, the freshest ingredients, the most flavorful foods brought together with wine.
And then they started a summer concert series out on the lawn behind the restaurant. Started very casually as a picnic type setting, and now it's grown to be a beautiful dining and entertainment experience. And then in 1998, they opened a Greg Norman designed golf course right through the vineyards. So there are a lot of reasons to come visit the Livermore Valley wine country. I'm part of the fifth generation with my brother Carl, who's our winemaker.
I'm the fifth generation with the Wente family in a direct line of winemakers, and it's one of the things I'm most proud of. There's not many companies, family companies in California that can say that. And my sister and I have stepped into a wonderful company with wonderful people, and I consider myself lucky every day.
Well, I grew up working around the winery and sort of observing my father, aunt, and uncle at work, but I didn't commit to working here until I was in college.
My sister Christine and I both came back to the winery right about the same time, and she has extensive background and knowledge in the sales and marketing, and as I was going to school, I thought the entire wine industry was all about winemaking, and so I really focused on that and made that my passion and my pursuit. But it's great that Christine's natural interests lie elsewhere, because obviously you need the two parts to work very well together to have a successful, sustainable winery.
Food and wine and a family business were way too wonderful to pass up, so after I graduated from college, I jumped right into the wine business.
Graduated from Stanford in '99 and then UC Davis in 2001, and then I jumped into my first vintage because the harvest always starts right when school starts, and school for my parents was the first priority always. My father, Eric Wente, is also a winemaker, and the advice that he gave me is to always respect the land, nurture the soil, always be 100% sustainable, and that way you can continue and pass it on from generation to generation. We're here 120 years later farming on the exact same land. It's proof that we have been sustainable and good stewards of the land.
Well, my great-grandfather started the winery in 1883, and I think from the roughly 50 acres he started with then to today, he'd be very proud of what we've accomplished. Basically, we're standing here half a mile from where he started, and we still have the original property, and we're still doing the same basic things.